So, last week, remember when I told you it was all in your hands? Well, I lied. It's in your feet. Not really. We did some wrist exercises last week, which are super, super, super important. You should do these wrist things regularly, especially if there's pain. Pain means, hey, pay attention, don't ignore me, work on me. So I had some folks mention the ankle, which is also super important and neglected. So just a handful of things that you can do to combat that ankle pain. Okay, first one is you can actually add like a little core workout by keeping this little boat action happening, but the ankle is the important thing here. So what I want you to do is I want you to hold sort of the right leg in place so you can really find these circles, these nice big slow circles in the right ankle. You're gonna notice that the non-dominant side is gonna have a much harder time listening to your instruction of making a very simple circle. Only because our bodies, or our joints, circle the other way, are much like our houses, right? So if there's a room in your house that you don't use the space that often, you just start putting boxes and shit in it, you just start cluttering the space, you can no longer go in that room. You no longer have space in that room. Same thing in your joints. If you don't use the range, if you don't use the entire space, then boxes get piled up in there and then you lose that range. So you're starting to feel some discomfort. Yeah, I'm doing it, I'm feeling it. That's the effort it takes to carry all of those boxes out of that room. They're not just gonna disappear overnight. You gotta make the change. All right, we'll go to the other side. Circle it out. Left side, circle may feel a little weird. May not feel like a circle, may just feel like a little egg. The big toes doing funny things, the toes start doing funny things. Just stay with it, carve it out. I usually do these a lot longer. If I'm gonna hit the ankle, I'm gonna hit something, I like to spend like a half hour on it. And the other side, this will be a quickie. But again, these are just exercises you can do later. I like to do them till the point of massive discomfort. And you don't have to do what I do, but I like to do it till I can't tolerate it anymore. All right, we'll stop there. Next little sort of thing we want to do with the foot is we want to make an X, right? So I'm going to make an X. I'm going to start with the right foot. I'm going to carve across and then try and carve back out. And notice that I want to try and do this with my big toe is like the marker, but I'm trying not to let my knee go a lot of different places. I'm trying to make it really a strict movement of the ankle and not so much the leg or the knee joint. Breath is always the priority. Movement is essentially secondary. Really breathe. And we'll do the other side. Carve these out. This side's a little bit more weird. Again, non-dominant side, so it's not used as much. So the communication or the discussion I've had with my muscles or my tendons on this side is just less. I've had less conversations with this side of my body. I've had less interaction. So it doesn't move as fluid. It doesn't move as controlled. Yeah, there go my X's. And then we'll go onto the mat for some other ones. If you can sit on, this is just, hero's pose. If you can sit on your shins, that's great. That's what we want. We want to lift the right knee up, but keep the foot on the ground. You can maybe even open it up here again. You get real high, you'll pop some toes. You'll crack some toes. That might feel good. Do the other side. Just lift it up. Maybe open it. Maybe find some little adjustments in the feet. And then try and find both knees coming off the ground. You can use a little sort of propping up with your fingertips. And just find these little bounces, try and get some height. You may find that there's no movement at all. You might just be tiny lifting up and feeling a ton of pain through the tops of the feet. That's okay. Again, a little discomfort, a little stress. Stress is part of the game here. Without the stress, there is no mobility, there is no growth, there is no improvement. We need a little bit of stress. So here for 10 more seconds, 10, try and really get a little higher, try and add some range, add some breath, relax your face, and then maybe hold them up here. Maybe hold them up, squeeze the inner thighs a little bit more, press into the tops of the feet, maybe extend the arms here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, you can do those longer. Maybe tap the tops of the feet, get some blood flow back, maybe flex through the heels. And then this next one is the exact opposite. So you're gonna curl the toes under a lot, maybe hide those pinky toes or peel those pinky toes out, and then sit right on those heels. I like to do these for a couple minutes at a time, especially early on in my practice when the ankles were a lot more limited in range. So if you can tolerate this for a couple minutes at a time, that'd be great. If you can't tolerate it, just come off it every now and again. Try to extend your holds. Make sure that you tuck your tailbone, squeeze the inner thighs. That'll take a little bit of pressure off the hips. Sit nice and tall, relax your face, breathe. Find the most uncomfortable position and then breathe as much as you can. Add intensity to the breath. Try and distract or send your focus to the pain. The more you focus on it, the more you can soften it. Trying to run away from it certainly isn't going to help. It certainly isn't going to give you that range. So again, you can hold this as long as possible. We're going to move past it. We top the taps of the feet again, bring some blood flow back. Now we're going to try and sort of add some ranges to the ankle through some movement. First one, just the knees. Just the knees are coming off the mat with control. Squeeze them together and just try and find a little balance and then lower. The arms can help by being off to the sides. Find this pace, maybe stare at one thing that isn't moving. Try and let the knees come up and down together. You're gonna find that these are pretty difficult and they're also pretty intense. You'll feel a lot through the back of the calves or the calves, the Achilles, the tops of the feet, the arches of the feet. 10, 9, 8, you can do it fast or slow, whatever feels like it's adding difficulty, that's great. And we'll give that a little break and then we'll come right back into it. This one's just a build, so it's a little bit more difficult. Instead of coming to the toes, we're gonna come off the knees onto the heels. Find the heel and then come back to the knees. Some of you guys that take my classes regularly, you know I do these all the time. So this is that range. It might not come to you right away, but it will eventually. And that's it. There's probably a million other things you can do, but start off with that. That should give you a nice sort of start. And let me know how that lands. If there's anything else you'd like to dive into, let me know. Later.